All right, doing a little recap here, just kind of like looking at our initial notes for our qualifying round. So, what happened on these holes? This is one of the older par fours that you absolutely positively have to get an eagle on. There's just no two ways around it. You've got to mark this down on your cheat sheet as a -2 hole. If you don't get an eagle on this hole both times round, your odds of being in the top three are going to be diminished. You have to get an eagle on this hole both times. So the way I play this hole is with a quarterback and a kingmaker, and what I've done different this time around was I applied maximum backspin on my quarterback, and then whatever was left over of left-hand side spin, and then I put on a little bit of curl, and I just barely missed the cup, maybe by a ring. But you're starting over here with your QB, and then your backspin curling it towards the hole. It's pretty much a guaranteed eagle, but it does give you a legitimate shot at hole-in-oneing this. So you can do a rough bump here, but I find the rough bump to be inconsistent when you're in rookie, and it's better to just bring out a quarterback. The quarterback's got lots of backspin. Even a lower developed quarterback, you've got backspin, you've got curl. And if you bring out a kingmaker, you're going to have the distance to put you up in here into range so that you can bring it back towards the hole. So that's definitely a hole that you have to eagle. One of the newer par threes. The key on the par threes is it's great to get hole-in-ones, but the absolute key on a par three is to get a birdie. You cannot do anything that will risk your birdie shot on any par three. You can go for the hole-in-one, but you have to get a birdie on it. If you get a par on a par three and you work really hard, like on the first hole, to get that eagle, you just lost that eagle because you parred a par three. You can't afford to do that in these tournaments. So on this particular one, most people are coming at it with a backbone here and then trying to bring it to the hole. I'm using a Guardian with a Quasar and trying to backspin it. It's landing on the green and trying to backspin it right into the hole. The deal there is that if I hit it great to the left or right, guess where I'm at? I'm on the green. And so I'm on the green. I've got to putt no matter what. You hit over here, and if you didn't bring the right ball with you, you've got to crunch up against this rough. And if you clip this rough, now you've got to do a chip in from the rough. And any time on a par three that you can land on the green and go for the hole, in my opinion, it's much better than trying to land on a pad, bounce it over the rough, and try and bring it to the green. Maybe from over here your hole-in-one chances are better, but you're also, there is the opportunity over here to mess up a shot, and I do not want to get a par on a par three. And I think my chances of getting a hole-in-one with my Guardian are pretty high. So, I'm not like taking myself out of a hole-in-one by using the Guardian. I'm just making sure that I'm going to be on the green for a putt no matter what. So that hole's a -1 hole. This hole right here is definitely an albatross par 5 all the way. I mean, you have a legitimate shot at albatross every time you're on this hole. We're going from over here. You can use pretty much any driver in your bag. It's a layup shot to get over to here. So on this one, I'm actually using a quarterback because the quarterback's going to give me a lot of accuracy to get over here. It's a layup shot anyway, so I'm not worried about distance. I'm worried about accuracy. If I hit a great to the left or if I hit a great to the right, the quarterback, it's not going to make any difference. I'm still going to end up out here. I'm using a kingmaker, primarily not because I need it on this layup shot, but I'm looking for the reduced wind on this second shot. The other thing is here too is that no matter where I line up out here, and when I take my shot, I'm always going to put in some right-hand curl so that if I hit a great ball to the left, I don't end up in the sand. I end up right here. If I hit a perfect shot, I end up right here. If I hit a great shot to the right, I end up out here. So no matter what, I'm good. If I don't apply that curl and I hit a great shot to the left and I end up in the sand, I just took myself out of Albie's shot. So we want to stay away from this on the left, so apply some right-hand curl so no matter what happens, you're going to be in the right spot. So this hole here is an absolute positively have to make an eagle, which is super easy, but it has the potential for an albatross. Probably one of the best potentials in the game. Hole number 4, this is one of the newer holes. big topper all the way. Starting from here, bouncing off to here, I used a Titan to get me closer to the, and you look at this, it's kind of hard to tell here, there's a trough right here, and I tried to get on the front side of that trough. I did not use any side spin, I did not use any curl, and the reason I didn't is because the side spin, the first bounce here is where the side spin will start to take effect. So I don't want to go from here with any side spin or curl. I want to land right in the middle of this. So I didn't apply any side spin or curl. I went 1 bounce, 2 bounce, right onto the green. I didn't use all of the top spin on my big topper. I was 1 shy of the top. I think my big topper is like 1 1/4 at the top, and I didn't apply that top little bit. So Titan, no overpower. I didn't put any of it back. I made a full wind adjustment on my big topper. It's 2.5 per ring. I made a full wind adjustment. I was very close down here, to the rough, but it didn't seem like there was any elevation stuff where it actually moved the ball further forward. I got a really good bounce here, bounce onto here right on the green, but I did not use full backspin. And this is one of those holes that, this hole right here, if you can get an eagle on both times and play the rest of the course perfect, this hole right here could win you the tournament, because this is the hole that's going to give you that minus 14 without anything spectacular and put you in that minus 28. So you absolutely have to get an eagle on this hole both times through. It will be the hole that will win you the tournament, or put you in the top 3. Hole number 5. Now the way I play this hole is I'm playing it from right here, and I'm using a sniper, and I'm putting my blue ring so that my blue ring is in this hollow. It's in this sand stuff here, so I can set my ball up very quickly. I'm using a katana, and I used maximum backspin. I kind of balanced out the backspin and the curl, and then I put on, when I did backspin and side spin, and then when I put on curl, I just put it up so that I was pushing up against the ring. So just a little bit of curl, and ended up pin high about a ring away. So you probably don't need to use quite that much curl, but it's one of those things you're going to have to practice in order to get that dialed in. But once again, I like starting over here because I can take the sand out. If you start over here and you're coming in, the hard thing about starting out over here is that it's hard to find a spot. You know, if you're over here, it's hard to find a spot, so that the next time you come to the hole, you're in the same spot. And the next time you come to your hole, you're in the same spot. What happens is that you're in a little bit different spot each time. And so it becomes very inconsistent. And in a lot of the cases, I'm seeing guys hitting from over here, and they're hitting over the sand trying to get in, and they clip the sand. I want to take the sand out of play. So by playing over here, I'm pretty much taking the sand out of play, even if I hit a great ball to the left or the right, because I've started off on my blue ring, so I'm giving myself lots of room. So on this hole, definitely -1. You're looking for the birdie. But there is a chance for a hole-in-one on this hole. But you definitely cannot get a par on it. Okay, this hole. Traditionally, I hit with a Titan and a Kingmaker, and I'm trying to hit over here as far down as I can, and I'm trying to get the ball up here to get myself in the Saturn range. And then I'm trying to backspin the Saturn into the hole and go for albatross. What I'm practicing right now, and I've been unsuccessful in the 2 attempts that I've tried it, and it's not really that hard of a shot, is to bounce from here over to here and get myself up into this area, because now I'm going to be in my Hornet range, and I'm going to have a short iron shot to the green instead of a long iron shot. What's happened the last 2 times is I've hit the shot and I've made it over, but I've ended up in the sand trap right here and had to use my Spitfire to get onto the green. But what I'm trying to do is go from here to here and then try and use my short iron. And we're going to be practicing that shot all week long, and hopefully on the weekend round we can pick up 1 albatross on this hole. This again is one of the easiest par 5s to get an albatross on. I mean, you've got a definite shot to get an albatross on it, so it's super important that you get an albatross on this hole at least once during the tournament, preferably on the weekend round. So, this is definitely an eagle hole, -2 with a -3 possibility. It's got a huge potential if you're on the fairway shooting either a long iron or short iron that you gave yourself a great shot at albatross. Hole number 7. I've played this hole just only a handful of times, and I played it and I went here and I did a max overpower shot, and I ended up hitting here, and I ended up in this sand trap. It's going to be so difficult to get here and to be able to run it up this neck in order to get on the green. Now, it's not impossible. And I personally would just rather just be right here. This might actually be one of those holes where if you brought a quarterback with a great ball, where you had good accuracy, where you could try and catch this little teeny bit of fairway to bounce over and just end up right here. You got a great shot coming into the hole. Whereas if you're over here, you need to be as high up here as you can, and then try and get over these moguls without putting the moguls into effect. Now, I brought a Hornet, and I ended up on this one, I did a shot up here, and I did a Hornet shot, and I was able to kind of bounce it over, but this green is inconsistent. As I moved the ball around, the ball guide would come in and disappear, so there's definitely some weird stuff going on the green. So I think if you're going to shoot this shot, this is probably a better area for a thorn where you can backspin it. You can start off on the other side of these moguls and try and backspin it into the hole. But I'm still, I'm always looking for on these par 4s where you can give yourself that straight in shot. If you can end up out here, then you can bring a Hornet and you can do a straight in shot, and these moguls aren't in play. You're just doing a straight in shot right up the gut. But this first shot is super, super dangerous, and you've got to hit it absolutely right. I did check. I brought a big ball. I brought a Titan, and I was checking to see if I could go from out here and try and curl it back in here, and it'd be a very difficult shot to be able to get from here back over in here, just to lay up right here. So I think this is one of those ones that people are going to go for it, and some people are going to make it. But some people are going to go for it, and they're going to end up in the drink. And while I would really like to get an eagle on this hole, you've got to make sure you secure your birdie on this hole and that you don't take a risk of getting into this water. You hit out here and then you end up in the water here. Because I was about the same distance here when I was in the sand as this water out here. So if I'd hit it great to the left, I'd ended up in the drink. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it safe on this hole and hit it out here for the layup shot, which still gives me a legitimate chance at eagle, but I'm going to bring a thorn with me instead of my Hornet. So on this hole, you're looking for the -1, but it has a -2 potential. You got to secure you can't drop a shot on this hole by going for something. And this is one of those holes that if we got to play it enough, it's so new and I haven't played it enough that it might have a hook shot. You might have a hook shot out here where you can do a hook shot here and you do, and you could blow it past some of this stuff, but I just haven't played it enough to be able to know some of the angles that you can get on it. This is another one of the par 3s. I was using a sniper on this hole, and there's just enough backspin on the sniper to get towards it. But you could also use a Guardian. This would be a great hole for a Guardian, but it's definitely a wood shot. So whatever wood you feel the most comfortable with, but you're going to need some backspin on it. Even starting out here with my sniper, I needed to use some backspin. So the Guardian might be a better play because if I miss it on the first one, I might be able to pick it up on the backside. But this is definitely a -1 hole all the way. Looking for the birdie. Hole number 9. Now, you have an albatross shot on this hole, but once again, it's one of those holes that you're going to need to bring clubs with backspin for the green shot. Now, I used a Titan, and this wouldn't be a bad hole to bring a power 4 ball on. And I used an extra mile, and I went from here to here and ended up out in this area, and I got it to the point where I cleared the trees. So I was probably somewhere out in this area and cleared the trees, but there's not a lot of green left to work with when you're approaching it from this direction. So a backspin club is definitely going to be beneficial. Now, where I hit it out here, I was Guardian length away. If you get up closer to the sand up here, if you did, and I didn't do a full overpower shot. So on my drive, I let the wind play into effect. It was like a 3.3 wind, and I left the wind in play, and then I did about half overpower to end up out here. So if I would have brought a power 4 ball, I could have left the wind into play, and I would have been even better here. I probably could have ended up out here where I might have been in my short iron range. But I think that this is going to be long iron range, whether you're shooting your long iron or your wood, that it's probably going to be better to bring something with some backspin. So if you're using your long iron, the one that's got the most backspin is going to be your Saturn, depending on what levels you've got them in. And in woods, it's probably going to be your Guardian. So this hole right here is an absolute -2 all the way. And you're going to have an Albie shot. So on all 3 of these par 5s that we have on this, we've got albatross shots. So when we look at the course as a whole, if we just wanted to shoot like what you need to shoot, your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, -14 is what you want to count as just like the mistake-free round. If you picked up the 1, 2, 3, 4 extra shots, you're looking at -18. You know that somebody's going to pick up one of those shots and be at -15, so there's -30 for the weekend round. So to see somebody shoot a -32 is not going to be out of the realm of possibility. To see guys shooting 29 and 30, that's going to happen. So if you shoot a mistake-free round, pick up the shots that you absolutely have to pick up. You're at -28. You're going to need to pick up at least one other shot. You're going to need to get an albatross on one of those par 5s. You're going to need to get a hole-in-one on one of the par 3s. You're going to need to get that hole number 8 par 4 or hole number 7 par 4. You're going to need to get that eagle on this hole. You're going to need to pick up one of those to get you to -29, and then I think -29 is going to pretty much guarantee you a top 3. And in most brackets, that -29 is probably going to get you the win. But you're going to see guys that shoot -29 and end up losing to somebody who shot a -32 or a 31. So you have to shoot a mistake-free round and try and pick up at least one of those extra shots per round. That'll put you at -30, and that'll pretty much guarantee you a win. I mean, not in every bracket, but that's kind of what you're looking at. Is you want your goal to be about -30. You want your goal to be -32, and then if you shoot a -30, you'll be good. But you have to shoot. I think you're going to have to shoot the mistake-free round, the -28, just to be in the top 5 in most of these brackets. You're going to find some of the brackets where you shoot the -28 and you're not even going to be in the top 3. All right, that was the kind of just like a recap of where our initial notes are in the Ghostly Glades tournament in the Rookie Division. Thanks for watching.